So this is me saying goodbye to the last 5.5 years as an MIT student. It's a long time. When I was in high school, I thought that robots were going to take over the world someday. So I wanted to become an engineer. And that's why I wanted to go to MIT. A few years have passed since then. And now it's my time to leave this amazing place. I feel like I'm writing the story of my life. But I've filled this page already and I'm writing in the margins with chicken scratch. The reality is, I need to turn the page and start a new chapter. But first, I wanted to highlight why MIT has such a special place in my heart. IHTFP. Everyone at MIT knows what those 5 seemingly insignificant letters stand for within the first few days upon arriving to campus. But it's not until after you've walked these halls, submitted P-sets at midnight, had a few mental breakdowns, and laughed with friends until the sun came up that you discover the true meaning of IHTFP. I still remember first arriving to MIT by plane, ready to start my new adventure. I took public transit and ended up lugging my suitcase down Mass Ave, which is like the main street that goes through Cambridge, in a maroon MIT shirt in the middle of August, and I ended up drenched in sweat. I was doing a freshman pre-orientation program. Our task was to create these mini soccer playing robots. Naturally, I named mine Jarvis. The first few weeks at MIT literally felt like sleepaway camp. Me, a kid who knew nothing, sharing these halls walked by legends and geniuses. I went hacking, which is our word for like tunnel exploring and rooftop hopping. We stopped by the Stata loading dock, which is this technological graveyard of abandoned computer parts. And when we got there, I just remember briefly making eye contact with a guy wearing this lit up LED helmet before he hopped onto this makeshift electric go-kart and scooted away into the night. I remember first experiencing virtual reality through my upstairs neighbor's Oculus Rift. It just had me thinking, this is the future. I was also invited to this fraternity rush event, which happened to be a boat cruise on the Boston Harbor. I ended up sitting on the top deck with 3 newly made friends, just gazing at the stars, chatting about time dilation, muons, black holes. In those first few weeks, I just felt like I was where I belonged.
We're reminiscing on how we met each other.
4 years later, this is gonna be a vlog.
Our door was open and we were just hanging out, and then he pops his head in and he's like, "Hi, I'm Tyler."
First semester of freshman year just flew by.
What time is it, Kylie?
I don't know. Alright, guess I have to go.
Until we maybe one more time get low.
At MIT, first semester is on PNR, which stands for Pass No Record. Essentially, if you get a passing grade in the class, then it just counts as a pass. And then if you fail, it disappears from your record as if you never were even enrolled. I joined a sorority. I had late night conversations with my hallmates. I ran back and forth from ice rink to ice rink for synchronized skating and ice hockey.
Ah, Keith got burned!
At the end of the day, I passed all my classes. That first semester was mostly filled with excitement of being able to meet so many similarly minded people as me. The following semester, we have grades, and classes are slightly more interesting. The mood starts to really change as the focus begins to shift towards academics. This semester really humbled me as I realized that I had so much to learn and some things were just hard sometimes.
Where are we? We're at TD Garden at the World Figure Skating Championships.
What? We can have an entire day where I teach you how to make your own dresses. Yeah!
I spent a summer in Paris working on an augmented reality project as an internship. And when I first arrived, I hated it. It rained for 2 weeks straight, the Louvre was flooding, and my SIM card didn't work at all, and I was this 18-year-old lost in a foreign country where nobody knew I existed. But once I started meeting the other MIT interns in Paris that summer, it became one of the best summers of my life. I went to the university cafeteria every night for dinner with my MIT squad. And we would just sit there laughing for hours. I would watch the sunset from my balcony, go to the Louvre every Friday night, and just admire the Eiffel Tower from Trocadero. But this high of my life was soon followed by maybe one of my worst semesters ever. And the reason was just that I was overambitious. There was 1 week where I literally had a probability exam and a relativity exam on Monday, a final round interview, my first one ever, in New York City on Tuesday, nothing on Wednesday, an algorithm exam on Thursday, and an early universe exam on Friday. And that was a hard week that, yeah, it was rough. I learned the hard way that sure, I can take a bunch of really difficult classes and probably do okay in all of them, but I realized I didn't want that. The amount of pressure, anxiety, and loneliness that I was feeling was just overwhelming. I realized that I needed to prioritize just balance in my life.
Lion played, and he was happy. That was the end of the story.
And so the next semester I only took 4 classes, one of them which was actually virtual, and I worked part-time at this hedge fund where I was interning over the summer.
Don't do that to
By the end of sophomore year, I had declared a double major in EECS and physics.
No more pictures of no!
In my junior year, I had gotten into the swing of things. I had taken my first course in AI in the fall, competed for MIT at the MIT figure skating competition in the winter.
Our next skater, representing MIT, Kylie King.
And then I took ML, quantum, and this really consuming but rewarding microcontrollers class.
First part of my R31JP. It creates different sounds. The PSOC part does audio distortion. So I'm gonna play Alan Walker's new song. Here is echo. Distortion. And reverb.
And I made spring training on my dream synchronized skating team, the Haugenettes. Entering my senior year, I was really focusing on graduation requirements, so I had to take Intro to Chemistry. I also took this extremely interesting history of physics class, which discussed everything from Einstein's paper on relativity and E equals mc squared to the nuclear bomb and the entanglement of physics with politics. And in the spring, I had a really light course load. I spent most of my time trying to enjoy last moments with friends who were soon to be spread out all across the country. In my opinion, the best part about MIT is the people.
Give me a go.
Banana.
Favorite part of MIT, I think, has been probably just cliche, the people. The
my favorite part too,
I've created, the relationships I've made.
I think that it's a place where everyone you meet, whether it's professors or classmates, everyone is so driven and inspiring. Everybody has so much knowledge to impart, and just going around and asking people about their research, about their classes, you can learn so much from your peers. To share a little bit of this with you, I went around and asked some people if they could share their stories at MIT.
My interest is in experimental high-energy physics.
What I hope to do is to put AI in fabric.
My research focuses on quantum computing using superconducting qubits.
I'm working at the MEG lab here, so we're looking at like how brain networks change as you start to go through Alzheimer's and how different drugs can change that.
So my research is on the study of the quantum plasma using heavy ion collision. Those collisions are delivered by the Large Hadron Colliders.
What I am probably most is the discovery of the Higgs boson. My group, they all were very involved in this. It was
That's awesome.
Unbelievably kind of exciting period. I remember some of the undergraduates that came during the summer, they were sleeping actually in the auditorium or in front of the auditorium to get seats. So it was a super exciting time.
Researchers, they are genuinely interested in science, believe in science, and also very, very collaborative. And they are kind to each other, and we discuss every day about the science we are doing. So I would say the true value of MIT is because people really respect each other, and people really love science and believe the science has scientific value. That makes my daily life so exciting.
After graduation, I started a new life working full-time as a software engineer, and after a while I just realized this wasn't the trajectory that I wanted to be on. So with that, I decided to return to MIT and pursue a master's. I had always wanted to merge my two passions in computer science and physics, so when an opportunity with the relativistic heavy ion group presented itself, I jumped on it. When I was back at MIT, I felt alive again. I was reading about all these interesting applications of machine learning and physics and working with MIT driverless on a self-driving race car. I took a class in reinforcement learning and I was just absolutely fascinated by it. In the summer, I had the amazing opportunity to travel to Geneva, Switzerland to work at CERN on a research project. It was an amazing summer in Geneva filled with plenty of fondue and hiking. Returning back for the fall was extremely stressful as I had to wrap up my research, write a thesis to graduate, and figure out what to do with myself post-grad. But fast forward 3 months later, and I survived. By the end of the fall term, I had submitted a thesis, graduated, and found a job.
Photo contest at Beacon Street in Mass Ave. Team Leo, baby.
I am extremely grateful to have been able to experience the past few years of my life here at MIT. But I feel like it's time to move on. I've had my highs and my lows, and I feel like I've done everything that I came here to do. This place will break your spirit and crush your soul, but it'll build you back even stronger.
Yeah. It's our first test launch.
Whoa!
This place will enrich your mind and elevate your thinking, but leave you wondering about how much you still don't know in the world. This place is more than just a school. It's a place where I spend some of the most memorable and transformative years of my life. My freshman self had no idea what laid ahead. At MIT, I have formed incredible communities, whether it was my dorm, sorority, hockey team. I've become the person that I once aspired to be. So for now, I'm saying goodbye to this amazing place. IHTFP. It means both I hate this place and I have truly found paradise.